Hi my friends, welcome back. Today I wanted to sit down and have a personal chat with you about life lately. I feel like it's been ages since I connected with you all like this on a more personal level, and I have some things to share. Life has been wonderful, exciting, filled with changes and new beginnings. It's also been overwhelming. I felt stressed and anxious. I felt like I lost my footing a number of times. But overall, it's been amazing, and I even got to do the number one thing on my bucket list, something I've been wanting to do for years and years and that I never expected would actually happen. It may seem like a small thing to others, but to me, this is a dream come true, and I'll tell you all about it in today's video. Thank you so much for being here. Feel free to grab yourself something nice to drink as well, and let's have a cozy chat. So I actually wasn't even planning on filming this today. I have another video scheduled for next week that I'm working on, but today I just really felt like sitting down and having this chat with you. I've been making a lot of videos recently on the channel that have to do with lists, like sharing my tips for minimalism, decluttering, slowing down, saving money, intentional living, all of that stuff. And I always try to include as much information and inspiration and helpful tips that I can share into videos like that, so that they are as helpful and valuable as I can make them to whoever is watching them. But every once in a while, I just really feel like connecting with you all on a more personal level instead, and today is one of those days. First, I want to take a quick moment to thank you all so much for being here. This year has been a really great year for the channel so far. Lots of new people here. Also, I still see so many of you in the comment section every week that I know have been around here for years and years, and that is so special to me. I really appreciate it so much. So welcome to new subscribers. Thank you to long-term subscribers. I'm really happy you're all here. I always find it really difficult to find the right words to convey how important this community is to me and how much I appreciate all of your support. I feel like whatever words I choose to describe this, it's not enough, and it's a feeling that is just really close to my heart. So let me just say thank you from the bottom of my heart, and you guys keep me motivated to keep showing up here, to keep making videos week after week. And I always look forward to the time when Monday comes around and my work week is starting. You know, reading all of your comments whenever a new video goes up is always one of the highlights of my week. So thank you so much for being here. I really, really appreciate it. And this channel wouldn't be a thing if it wasn't for you all. This year has been a lot. I feel like the last couple of years I've been kind of at a standstill, really wanting to move forward and make some changes and kind of hitting a wall every time. And this year is the year that things suddenly all started moving and changes started happening. We bought this apartment and we moved here, which was in May, I think, this year, which really was also a dream come true for me. We've been wanting to move for years at this point, and we really wanted to leave our old neighborhood behind, mostly filled with garbage on the street and loud drunk people screaming in the middle of the night and a bunch more things that we really wanted to move. And with the housing crisis being what it is here in the Netherlands, yeah, we couldn't make it work. We tried, and we just couldn't find anywhere. And this year we made it work, and we were very lucky to get this place, and I feel very grateful. So now that the whole moving stress is behind us, I feel very happy here. Earlier this year, my mom was very sick. She has been sick for a couple of years. Then she got better, and this year things happened. She got worse again. Now she's better again. So there was a lot of stress going on. I also had a little health scare myself, which turned out to be absolutely fine. But as you can imagine, dealing with, you know, getting the mortgage arranged and possibly buying a place, and then also your mom in the hospital, and I had a little health scare myself. That whole time of the year was very stressful. And then on top of that, there was some more family stuff that was going on in my life that I'm not talking about really on the channel, but obviously that was on my mind as well. Just dealing with a lot of change, uncertainty. I had a lot of stress. I have had some of the worst anxiety of my life this year. It's also been one of the best years of my life. But in terms of my mental health, it has been a little rocky. Like I said, I had a lot of anxiety this year, and it has gotten a lot better recently, but it's still not really at a point where I want it to be. I've heard that things like moving or buying an apartment or a house and a sick relative and dealing with uncertainties regarding to your own health are all considered to be some of the most stressful things in life, and I was dealing with them all together at once. And I don't know if you can relate to this, but whenever you go through one of those times in your life when you're stressing about all these things that are outside of your control, I also start stressing about all kinds of silly things. It's like this anxiety is a little bit of a monster in your brain, and you feed it by giving into it, by worrying and being anxious. And I started getting anxious, about silly things like, oh, my teeth feel weird, and then having a dream where all your teeth fall out, or being like, oh, was my hair always that high, or am I getting bald, or all kinds of silly things. Like I said, I'm getting a lot better with it again. I'm slowly starting to settle down and cool down a little, but yeah, it's been a lot. On top of everything else that happened in those months when we were buying this place, we also had a little trip. We went to Madrid for a couple of days, which we planned a long time before that, so we had no idea that all of these things would happen at once. It was hard for me to relax while being over there, but we did have a really nice time. It was the first time that we traveled since 2018, so it was good for us to get out of the country and see something new again. And Madrid is a beautiful city, so I did have a really nice time there. The channel also had some really cool milestones. I've made some videos that I'm quite proud of. And also we hit the 20 or 200,000 subscriber mark, which is really special. With all of these changes, I notice it in my mind, in my emotional state, in my physical state as well. I felt more tired more easily. Even with being a highly sensitive person, I feel like my nervous system was even more on edge. All the things I share on the channel are helpful. I've used them all in my personal life this last year, and I do find that they provide me really great value. But the fact that I share all these tips on this channel doesn't mean that I always have it all together myself and that I'm not dealing with any of these things. It's actually probably the other way around, me sharing this advice, because it's also something that I still need to remind myself of. With this new place, I have sometimes felt like I didn't have a real home that I feel safe and grounded in, because it's new and that has been difficult for me to deal with at times. I'm already starting to get emotional now. Anyway, it's been a lot, and I have been feeling just a little bit overwhelmed easily by just everything everything that life requires of you, or better said, probably that I require of me. Work, cleaning, maintaining an apartment, which is still so scary for me now that we actually own it and I can't call the landlord if something needs to be fixed. Exercising, seeing people, just all the things, all life things. It's suddenly feeling a little bit overwhelming for me lately. But again, I am also feeling really happy and really grateful, and just, all the feels basically. This made me decide to take it a little bit easier in the months of September and October. So earlier this month I communicated with you all in a community post on YouTube that I would slow my pace down a little bit. I'm still working, I'm still making videos, but I just noticed that keeping my regular schedule of one video a week on Patreon or on YouTube, and then 2 videos a month on Patreon, on top of everything else that you need to do if you run your own YouTube channel and if you run your own business, because it's not just, researching, scripting, filming, editing, and all of the video production stuff. There's also a lot of work that needs to be done behind the scenes every week, and I'm just one person. I'm doing it all by myself, so My schedule was becoming a bit too much for me to keep up, and I started noticing just some physical symptoms that my body was definitely giving me signs that I was working too hard. So I decided to slow my pace down a little bit. I'm still uploading videos. There's just going to be a bit more time in between each upload so that I can, first of all, actually take my weekends off, because I wasn't doing that. And I want to allow myself to actually have a weekend. Of course, I always have a bit of work to do when my new video goes up in the weekends, but that's fine. I want to keep it to just those few hours here and there and not actually work through the weekend. And also, I'm trying to stop working as soon as I feel really tired. Like if it's 3 p.m. and I've been working all day and I'm just really feeling tired, I want to stop for a while and do something else, maybe do some yoga or whatever, so that I can actually take good care of myself. And then my plan is to go back to my regular work schedule, uploading schedule for the months of November and December, and just kind of see what happens. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, then see this as an invitation to do so. And you can also subscribe for my free newsletter. You can find that at simplehappyzen.com/newsletter, because I always send out a newsletter whenever a video goes up. So even if my uploading schedule is a bit rocky, or YouTube might actually not show you whenever I upload a new video, you know, it doesn't show it to everyone. So if you are subscribed to my newsletter, then you will always know you won't miss a new video from me. Now for the number one bucket list thing. We actually just got back from a trip to London, which was not the bucket list thing, or at least not my number one. That happened while we were on the trip, but London was definitely on my list of places that I really wanted to visit, and I'm very glad that we did, because London is an amazing city. I've actually never come across a city that I love so much outside of the Netherlands, except for Tokyo and Reykjavik, which I both really loved and immediately felt at home. And London was the same for me. Such a buzzing city, so much life and so many things to do, things to see, such great vegan food to eat. I have never eaten as well on any trip abroad or inside the Netherlands than I did in London. We had vegan pizza, we had vegan traditional Japanese food, we had vegan English brunch type foods, we had stuffed cookies, we had just all kinds of things. It was really good. The quality of the food is really high, and I just had an absolutely fabulous time. We took the train, which was also great. We can just travel by train from the Netherlands to London. It takes like, I don't know, 4 hours or something, which was so much better for me than flying. Obviously, it's much better for the environment, but also for me personally, flying always gives me a huge headache, and I didn't have that on the train, which was nice. And we loved it so much that we immediately decided to book another trip for next year as well. So if you live in London, then I'm jealous of you. No, just kidding. I know you can't really like experience a city or what it's like to live there in just a couple days. We were there for 4 full days, but still I really loved it, and my partner did too. It was beautiful. The thing that we did there was I got to go to a concert of Joe Hisaishi, and 99% of you probably don't know who he is. I always have to explain it. But he is the musical composer who made all of the music for the Studio Ghibli movies. So I don't know if you know the Studio Ghibli movies, but I've been a huge fan of them ever since I watched my first one when I was around 15, I think, and I've been wanting to see Joe Hisaishi live ever since that time. I've always been a fan of music, and the music in those movies is just amazing. And I still can't really talk about this without crying. Actually, that reminds me, because when we booked the tickets for this concert, I think it was in February this year, I made a video on Patreon the next day. It was a tea time chat, and I mentioned that we had the tickets, and I said this. Yesterday, we booked tickets to see Joe Hisaishi live. I still can't believe it. I am not really like a bucket list type person. Oh my god. But if there's any one thing on my bucket list, it's seeing him in concert live. I've been wanting to do that for so many years, and we got the I'm not kidding when I say that we got the last 2 seats that were still available. Needless to say, it was very special for me. I've always played the piano, you might know that about me, and the songs I played, because I don't own a piano anymore, but the songs I played on the piano were always Studio Ghibli Joe Hisaishi songs. They are so close to my heart. I feel like the movies are not just movies, they are, for me and for millions of people around the world, just very healing whenever I feel like I'm depressed or I've lost my spark or my inspiration, or I feel anxious or whatever is going on in my life. I put on one of those movies and they always make me feel better. And that is in no small part also thanks to the music. So Joe Hisaishi has just been one of my heroes. He's an absolutely musically, he's a genius, and it was very special to see this concert live. I will link a video in the description box in case you're curious of one of the songs that they did. This one was in a different concert, but the video just has much better quality than the ones on YouTube from the one that we went to. But it was exactly the same song. They used a different singer, but it sounded exactly the same. So I will leave a link of that video in the description box just in case you're curious. But we were incredibly lucky. Tickets for concerts like that sell out like that, and he never comes to the Netherlands, and I've been wanting to go for years and years and years and years, and I never figured that it would actually happen because every time it was already sold out. And now I saw that he was coming to London. I just felt like, okay, this is my chance, I have to take it. And we immediately went on the computer and we got the last 2 seats that were still available, and they were very close to the stage. Like, we only had 10 rows of people in front of us, and then there was the stage. And so we got the last 2 available seats. And this concert was postponed a couple of times because it was supposed to happen in 2020 originally, and then you know why. So it got postponed, and apparently some people canceled their tickets, which is how we were able to go. And there were people from all over the world at that concert. There were many people who traveled to be there. We also spoke to a guy there who was just as big of a fan as I am, which is always nice to meet fellow fans. And yeah, it happened. It was very moving, very memorable. Something that I found was funny is that they also sold merch, which they always do at concerts. And it was like shooting Studio Ghibli fans in a barrel because they had these like stuffed animals that were like yay big. And they were, I think, 33 pounds a piece, which is crazy expensive, and people were buying them like it was water and they had just spent a year in the desert. That made me laugh a little. Obviously I didn't buy anything there. We also didn't take any photos or many photos. We didn't take any video of the whole thing because we just wanted to experience it and not look at it through a camera lens. And actually that was something that I really loved because almost no one was taking pictures or video during the concert. Everyone was just in the zone and living the thing. It was clear that it was filled with like really big fans. So it was a really nice atmosphere. The whole thing just reminded me so much of the amazing powers and healing powers of music and art, and it just filled my soul with life. It was truly amazing. You could see that everyone felt the same way. I don't think that anyone wasn't crying during the concert. It was just a really, really special experience, and I'm very grateful that I got to be a part of it. My hair is doing weird things today. Sometimes I feel a little bit guilty as a YouTuber because I am not the typical YouTuber to share everything as it is happening in my life. I'm not really the vlogging kind of person. I haven't vlogged the moving, the packing, I did film an apartment tour, but the whole experience of like buying an apartment and going look at it and moving and stuff, I didn't film any of it, as well as the trip to England or to London. I didn't film any of it. And it's not that I don't want to share those things with you all. I do. It's just that I don't want to record them. And I don't want to live my life in a way where I have to turn it into content. I want to live my life, and then there's my job, which is making content, if that makes sense. And so I just want to be present for things as they are happening. I don't want to have to think about camera angles and lighting and all that kind of stuff. So, and also I want to take the privacy of the people in my life seriously. So I don't want to have to film my family as they are helping us move, or, you know, film my boyfriend as we are traveling. These are things that I respect their privacy. I want to keep that private. And like I said, I do want to share it with you all, and I did share a bit more on Patreon. But first and foremost, I just want to live these moments and not necessarily have to turn them into my work or my content, which makes me a bit of an unusual YouTuber, I guess. And I'm already unusual since I'm also not on Instagram or TikTok. So sometimes I feel a little guilty for not doing it right or not sharing enough with you, but I know you all understand, so yeah. Quick thanks to everyone who is on Patreon. If you can, consider supporting the channel on Patreon as well. If you want to, it is $5 a month, and you can join and cancel anytime. And the income that I make on Patreon helps me to keep making these videos. The income I make on Patreon also helps me to pay for business expenses, gear, like this new microphone that I'm using right now. I'm also thinking about buying a second vlog camera. In return, you will immediately get access to all the videos that I've already posted on there, which is getting close to 100 actually, plus 2 new ones every month. And the videos are always ad-free on Patreon, and there are a lot of really fun ones. I have vlogs, tea time chats, deep dives into minimalism and related topics. So there's a lot going on there. If you want to support the channel there, you can go to patreon.com/simplehappyzen. But whether you are on Patreon or just watching my videos here on YouTube, I want to say a huge thank you, and I really appreciate your support. You are what help the channel exist. You are why I'm so excited to keep working on making new videos every week. And I wouldn't be able to do this without you. And I look forward to seeing you all again here next week for one of my more regular videos on the channel. If you also like Studio Ghibli movies, let me know in the comments, and also which one is your favorite and why, because I just love talking about these movies, so I can't wait to see how many fans are out there. If you haven't seen one of the Studio Ghibli films yet, I recommend it. I think they're on Netflix in most countries, although I'm not exactly sure, so you need to check for yourself. And if I can make a small recommendation, it doesn't really matter which movie you start with, but if I could give you a tip, I would watch it in Japanese with English subtitles or your own subtitles, if you can, if that's possible for you. If not, watch the dub, but if it's possible, please watch the Japanese versions, because in my experience they are much better. And also they kind of change certain things about the endings in the English versions that really put the movie into a whole different light at the end, which kind of creams my corn. So if you can, please watch them in Japanese and let me know what you think. Alright, I'm signing off. As always, questions, comments, conversations down below. Thank you so much for being here. Have a wonderful day. Tell me how you're doing in the comment section, and I will see you all again next week. Bye bye. Oh god, my fingers smell like soup. Because I just made soup.